Welcome everyone to our weekday video posts. I'd like to start today's post by relaying a story that I heard actually just this morning. A woman was speaking to me about her grandson, who was very agitated and afraid yesterday. And at first she didn't know what it was about, and the young boy didn't have words. And then later in the day, finally, the boy said to her, "The rioters are going to come here and kill us." So clearly, a 9 or 10-year-old doesn't have the context with which to understand what's happening, so that the mind could, leap to that kind of conclusion. And so it did. And those of us who have a larger context in which to understand what's going on, our minds may not leap to that exact conclusion. And yet, what this story reminded me of is like, this pandemic, just to speak of this for a moment, we kind of get inured to it a little bit. It's still happening. This level of uncertainty about what the future is going to bring in terms of our lives and how our lives are going to be. Will they be similar to the past? Will they not? It's still very present, and we are still very much swimming in that uncertainty. And of course, this uncertainty is always true. The Buddha's teachings tell us that time and again, that this is the world we live in. It's just that now it's so up and we're seeing it and feeling it so much. And on top of that, the arising of the seeing and feeling of racial oppression in this country, and the unrest that comes with the seeing of that. There's no way we can come to terms with that and not have there be unrest, whether it's unrest, in the streets or unrest in our own hearts and minds. So all this to say, a lot is happening. We can kind of get, yeah, that's what's happening now, but there is still a lot of uncertainty and energy and agitation in the zeitgeist, and we are feeling it, whether we are conscious of it or not. And we need to take care. We need to take care with calming and regulating our nervous systems regularly as much as possible. And one really important tool in the toolkit for doing that is the practice, is the calming practice of the shamatha meditation or the tranquility meditation. So let's go ahead and do that together now. The Buddhist monk and teacher Ajahn Sucitto talks about training the mind with the body. So we bring our attention first to calming the body, letting your eyes gently come to close. Consciously bringing your attention to your body, starting with the easiest places to connect with the body, which are where it's touching something. The chair, the ground beneath you, where your hands might be touching, Just connecting with this initial impression of the body. We might be feeling pressure, hardness, softness. Could be even a sense of rough or smooth. And mostly feeling the earth element in the body, this density. Feeling the support of the ground below. And softening and relaxing into that support. Softening and widening the way a thick liquid would respond to being poured downwards onto the floor, sinking downwards and widening. Softening and widening the body, softening and widening the attention so that it fills the whole body. So moving from noticing the touch points to now feeling the whole body all at once. See if you can get a sense of that, which doesn't mean you have to feel every square inch of your body. Widening the attention. And having this sense of feeling the body from the inside out, as opposed to kind of looking down on the body from the head. This sense of the awareness being embodied, not disembodied. As we inhabit the body more closely now, perhaps we notice maybe any little areas of holding or tension and can invite those to relax. As the attention rests in the body, we also can start to feel the body in a more fine-grained way. From the density and hardness or softness of the touch points, feeling the whole body, we can maybe perceive the body more as a field as opposed to an object with discrete edges. Connecting with the body as a field of tiny changing sensations. Sensations that are sparkling in and out of existence very quickly. Letting the attention be soft and receptive and wide, encompassing the whole field of changing sensations. Connecting with the somatic experience in a very fine-grained way of calm body sitting. Checking in frequently to see that you are connected to the body somatically, meaning you're feeling it. And checking to see, is the body as relaxed as it can be? And for every moment that the attention, the mind, is connected to the body in this way, is a moment when it's present, and also it's a moment when it's not lost in story. Stories of the riots coming to kill us, or any of the stories, the fear, the disaster, the worry, the agitated stories that enter our mind. And live there, and therefore making us live in that world for as long as we're not aware of them. But these stories don't exist in the body, only sensations. Connecting with the sensations of the body is a refuge for the mind. Story-free for the moments that we're connected with the somatic experience of calm body sitting. It's nice to sit together. Thank you. It's really not esoteric, this practice. The mind can't take two objects at the same time. So if it's aware of the body, if it's connected to the body, just by definition, it can't be lost in story. And yet sometimes that happens. And so when that does, just some suggestions about how to work with that. You know, until we become aware that there's a story in our mind, there's really nothing to do about it. We're just subject to that world that has been made up, and we're living in it. We think it's true, and the body responds accordingly, and that's just the world we're living in until mindfulness arises and we realize, oh, you know, I'm having future thoughts, I'm having future worrisome thoughts or whatever. Now we can actually do some things that will help extract us from that. Because just because we wake up to it doesn't mean it completely goes away, right? There's a strong pull, especially stories that are habitual. There's a strong pull for us to go back into them. So a couple things you can do when you wake up to difficult, painful stories that are in your mind. And I like to use the word stories because it helps point to that they're not real. They're actually, it's not real. It's just thoughts. So the first thing you want to do is name it to yourself. Find a little phrase that you use each time. Oh, you know, worry stories, or losing my job stories, or whatever it might be. Find a note, a mental note that you can use, and use it when you wake up from Storyland. It helps the truth of that be as clear as possible. In the suttas, the nuns and the monks would say, Mara, I see you, when they became aware of a defilement in their mind. And they said that so that they would be ultra clear about what was happening right at that moment in their hearts and minds. So we can do the same thing. Oh, worry story. And then what you want to do is go into your body and find out how the body is responding to that world you were just living in before you woke up. Probably some kind of tension, some kind of agitation somewhere. Look for it, find it, and be with it. Because that's what's happening. Also, being with it can also help it to let go and smooth out and ease. But most importantly, what you're doing when you do that is you're taking your attention out of the head and bringing it into the body. And remember, there's no stories in the body. For those moments that you can be aware of, say, clenched stomach, for those moments, you are not lost in the story, in the world of what terrible thing is going to happen in the future. The mind, it can't do it. It can't do both at the same time. And, you know, the experience of clenched stomach is, you know, it's not great, but it's not so terrible. It's actually quite easy to be with. So that's my suggestion to you. When you wake up from very difficult stories, worlds that we make up in our mind, name it. Find a note that you use each time and name it, and then bring your attention into the body, out of the head, into the body, somatic awareness, and use it as a refuge. Use it as a refuge from these crazy worlds that we make up in our mind. Okay. That's it for today. I wish you well today. If our current situation is teaching us anything, it's that life is uncertain and anything can happen at any time. So I wish you the ability to meet whatever happens for you today with a heart that's open and a mind that's even, that's equanimous and not reactive. Okay, bye-bye for now. Take good care.